Okay, well, there we are. Here we are. We're on air again. Backstreet Boys, Larger Than Life. They toured, I think, might have been earlier this year, Backstreet Boys. But my next guest, I think if we said Backstreet Boys, I think it would go, oh my goodness, you're not playing that stuff, are you?
No comment.
No, of course you can comment. That's the brilliance of music. Is that one person's like is another person's dislike, but it doesn't necessarily mean anything's right or wrong. So, Bianca, tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, hey guys. I'm a single mum to 2 young kids, and I'm here just to, talk about my music and how it got to this day. So it's just taken me 10 years or more to try and get the confidence to share it out with the world, because I never knew if it was good enough. It's good enough as in talent, or could I get somewhere with it, so it was just more of just writing it out, releasing it on paper, not knowing that I actually had this talent. So someone just said to me, here's a pen and paper. I'm like, what do you want me to do with this?
Yeah.
So I just gave it a go, started writing, then I found out I can draw as well, abstract art as well. So I'm trying to incorporate some of my drawings onto like an album cover sort of thing. So basically, just a lot of my music is raw, it's realistic, it's authentic, and it's just about my own experience with mental health, drug addictions, my kids, trauma, just those basic things that kind of create this kind of physique, my image of who I am as a person, but not just as who I am as a mum. So it's I'm trying to differentiate the difference between a mum and who am I besides just a mum, because we all know what a mum or a parent is. They cook dishes, they do dishes, they cook, they pull each other's kids apart from fighting, and then, but it's also who can I be in this day besides, a mum, because it's important that as parents and mums that we need to find something for us.
Yeah.
So it's not always just about, for the kids, but it's also that way I can be balanced and I can be filled and have that, that strength and that love more, because I need to start doing something just for me rather than just mopping floors or doing dishes or, because that's boring. But I want to, teach my kids that when they get older, try and stick with your hobbies, and it doesn't matter if it changes from time to time, but just to share their strengths with the world too, So I'm just trying to teach them whatever they want in life, go for it, because it's taken me 10 years, but it's never 10 years too late. So it's just all happened in this time, which I never planned to be here. It just happened, and it's just probably all in the right timing,
And was it hard? Like you say, you've been working for 10 years. Was that hard, Bianca, in that 10 years for you to work on it?
Yeah, it was kind of a bit of a journey, because it was mainly I had a bit of a, drug and alcohol addiction on and off for 10 years. And, so I was in and out of a couple of rehabs there, just the youth rehabs, so this is way before I had kids, So it was just mainly just trying to, I guess, get to the root why I kept falling back into addiction or falling back into relapses. I still never got to the root then, but fast forward now, it's everything makes sense. I've been diagnosed with complex trauma and ADHD, but back then I was only treating the addiction, but I wasn't actually treating the actual root. So it's the same thing, when people have diabetes, they give you the medication, treat diabetes, but you've got to make sure it's still manageable and treatable. But whereas addiction, it's not as simple. You can't just go to therapy and just go to support groups. It's an ongoing battle, for addicts, because it's that one wrong lapse can actually create that downfall and that vital thing where they just won't be so lucky. So in those 10 years, it took me a lot of time and effort, but because I had nothing going for me then, no kids, no friends, kind of a dysfunctional upbringing and family things. So it was just more well, I've already lost everything, so why not just make myself miserable, because I never had a job then. So it's I've got nothing to lose, but looking back 10 years now, so if we had a photo collage or a vision board 10 years then, my vision board was to be dead in a coffin. 10 years now, it's to rise up from a phoenix from underground and just growing, with my wings growing and spreading, so that way I can come out of this this darkness. There are days where I've still got this deep depression and the black hole and that black cloud following me. But what I've realised now is that I've been through hell and back. If I can get through 9-year family court battle, abuse after abuse from partners or, from, other times in my life, I can get through just one bad day, because one bad day is nothing to like 10 years of, addiction and abuse. So, yeah.
And that's a long time, isn't it? 10 years. Like, we can talk about saying, getting over it and this, that, the other, and you're sort of going on the upward direction, which is great. But I think I'm not a psychologist, but it is, I think, important to reflect. 10 years is a long time, because you're obviously a younger sort of person. It's a long time to go through 10 years of that, obviously.
Yeah, straight out. Like, I was just reflecting the other day, because where I used to work with, like, alongside of Anglicare as a lived experience for, like, mental health and just obstacle course, and we had to, at the beginning of this work, we had to do, like, a timeline events of all the barriers, again, like, that stopped us from achieving, what we want in life. Or, okay, well, it was me for my licence, what stopped me? So there's this big timeline, like a big A4, 5 sheet of paper from the day I was born to now. So there was like literally 40 different traumatic experiences in just probably 30 years. I'm just under 30 years, so probably about 20 years, yeah. So it'd be like a great year, couple of years, something would happen, have a break. So it's like, that's why I never knew really what happiness meant, because once I get happy, I knew something was just going to happen again. So there's actually a word called, like, for a fear of happiness. I can't remember what it was, but it's really interesting, because it's not that I don't want to be happy or I can't be happy. It's just, again, that fear of being happy, because when you're trying to just get over, like you were saying before, it's taking me this long, not just to get over it, but I say to, like, deal with it and manage it in a healthier way. So yeah, so it's really, it's been more than a roller coaster, I would say. It's been like, just riding the waves. It's like just crash after crash. You can just imagine the tsunami. Like, you kind of get back up on your surfboard, ready to take the next wave, and then, like, another tsunami will just hit you. Just like you're playing tug of war. You're like, your heart's telling you this, but your head's telling you this, but you don't know if you listen to your head or you listen to your heart, So it was just this constant vicious cycle, like a spider web. You're trapped, you're the bait, and then the spider's like trying to bring you back into their bait, It's just like you're just tangled in these knots, and it's just like, dude, just give me a break, let me have a life. But now, like, I still face challenges to this day, or just like as anyone would do, like finances or the housing crisis. But I guess what I have to remind myself is that it's just my kids. Like, I realise that nothing can, like, replace unconditional love towards the kids, So that's one thing I have to just keep picturing. Like, just even a few weeks ago I was in this depression. I'm just like, I don't want an adult, I don't want a parent, but I just, even if I had to smoke a bit more, just normal cigarettes just to get me through that day, at least it's just something. So just, just to keep me reflecting, and but yeah, so it's not an easy one, but I wouldn't have it any other way, kind of, because I reckon without my kids I'll probably still be drinking, drugging, or not even alive. So, but now it's like, I reckon all those events happened so I could have a kid, even though how my kid was born was through force and stuff like this for abusive partners. But at the same time, it sucks how that happened, but it's also a blessing and a curse, because my body's gone through trauma, but it's also given me a blessing, which is my 2 children, if that makes sense. Oh,
it does. We do a lot of interviews here with people who have come through a lot of bad times in life, and obviously yours is right up there with them. Was there a particular, after 10 years, was there a particular episode or instance that made you go, I'm doing something now, or this has changed my outlook, or what? Yeah, basically. So just before I had my first son, which he was born in 2015, so this was with my ex-partner, because he was an alcoholic and
drug addict too, and like I'm not judging, but like he wouldn't like change the ways, and like I was enough of it's like I adapted to his habitats. Like, you know how animals have their own habitat, they adapt to the weather, they adapt to different. But yeah, he, even when I was pregnant, was still like abusive, and while I was pregnant too. So I just one day I just had this, call me crazy, but I had this really weird dream that if I stayed with him, something was going to happen. And I had my dog at the time too, and he was very protective, and he started getting a bit like more like following me around, and or just like in between us, like me and my ex at the time. And I didn't know then that dogs could sense. So I'm just like, is he just jealous because, or is he just actually... So I'm actually glad, because after that happened, straight away when my son was born, I was living my life. I was eating, going to the gym 3 days a week.
Wow.
Living a normal life, no drugs, no alcohol. For 4 or 5 years, you know, I had no drugs or alcohol, maybe just a couple smokes here and there. Like, I never got addicted to anything except for addicted just to being... Actually, there's no such thing as normal, but this was an actual normal life, what they say after you're a new one. Like, there's obviously the postnatal depression, because my son was really sick as a baby. He nearly died from meningitis, which is an infection that went into his brain, which was caused from me, but my ex thought it was from me, so he thought I tried to... Anyway, all that, you know, so I went even through then, I still went through hell and back at the hospital with my son for like 8 weeks in the ICU, going from Kwinana to King Edward every single day with no carb, but just because I had to, because I was the mum. And, you know, so that moment changed my life. And after he was born, I was like, I had something to focus on. I didn't have anything to focus on before. So this gave me, I suppose what you'll say, like a purpose, like I said before, a blessing and a curse at the same time, because the way it happened, it shouldn't have happened. But I'm not trying to think like that anymore, because the shoulda, coulda, woulda, if, you know, we could be saying that till the cows come home, but that's not going to change anything. So like what I'm trying to change is that perspective, thinking, the lens is that there's a, you know, I'm not a big believer in that saying, yeah, there's always things happen for a reason, but not everything. But this is actually... was my purpose, because I knew that I never used to believe in God, but I usually believe in like my faith. Like, I do go to God sometimes, be like, hey, I need help with this, like, you know. So it was kind of like a miracle that had happened. You know, I was a young mum when I gave birth, maybe not too young, maybe like 22. I'm not good at math, so about 22 or something. So yeah, and then, you know, 5 years later I had my daughter, and then again I didn't. So about 9 years I didn't do drugs, and then like and then I had my daughter, and then that's when I got all these papers served to me for about family court about my ex wanting to have custody, or like as soon as he was born and dying, like he didn't care, like the baby was sick. All he cared was the control again. So even after, still to this day, we've been in the system for 9 years, I had a relapse, you know, when my daughter was little, but that was because of stress. Like, I developed an eating disorder, and then I developed like an addiction again. So the addiction, I guess, never went away. It kind of just faded. It's kind of like, you know, when a light bulb kind of dims, it kind of just was there in the background, but it wasn't on my mind. But it was just, I guess, a coping mechanism, because it was the eating thing. Like, people don't know much about eating disorders, but it's a way to control, like, because I couldn't control drugs, or my partners will control me. So it's kind of the only thing I can control, what I put in my body. So I had a lapse, and again, you know, on and off for a little bit there. But nothing like too major where like it would like take control over my life. It was just more of a coping mechanism, you know. So, but now like still trying to engage with and like support groups around like addiction, and also going to therapy. It's still hard, because the fears of it's never going to go away, but what I'm trying to do is like not let that fear eat me alive, because you can have fear in a few different meanings, like face everything and rise, or face everything and run. So I'm a bit of a both. I like to run, but I also like to fight and rise. So I was just like, my body's like doing this, my head's doing that. I'm like, what do I listen to? So sometimes I just have to like just bring it back and just do this meditation. Be like, what am I fearful for? Is it something I can control today? Is it something that doesn't need to be worried about today? Or is it a future worry? Or is it a right now worry? So this is kind of like helping me, I guess, to, if these moments come up, that this is okay. We know that every time we have a bad day, I always get caught up thinking it's never going to pass, but it obviously has passed if I've been having good days, so it doesn't just stick around me like a magnet, you know. So like I said, it's been a bit of a rough one, but I'm slowly, I guess, getting out of it, you know, because what I've learned is that, like, it can take years to recover from, like, trauma and abuse, but, like, you know, when you break a bone, it just takes 8 to 10 weeks to heal. You're back fine, playing sports, you're jumping around like nothing's happened. But this, you can't just bounce back. So you get the hypervigilance, you create more mental, you get more fear, you get more anxiety, and then you sleep less, or you sleep more because you're too tired, but you can't sleep because you're too overtired, and it's just like, boom. So, yeah, the last on and off 10 years now, it's just, I guess I'm at a place where I'm just trying to stay stable, stabilise. I don't really like the word normal because it doesn't really mean much, but it's about the stability and the balance at the moment, which is taking a long time to get there, you know, especially balance around like the sleep and then the eat and then the kids, because I'm a single mum, and then studying, and then we've worked before. So I was just like, how do people manage this? And it's just like, right, I need to either cut something back and at least have one day to myself, but then every time I have one day to myself, something's just like comes up, I'm just like, boom. But now it's just like, yeah, I guess that balance of just having that time just to, you know, recharge and give my soul and my body what it needs to, you know, keep functioning, you know. So
you've talked about a lot of things in your past and how you sort of you've adjusted, and you're adjusting now, and you're still adjusting. So, like, say now, is there an inspiration that that you go to?
Inspiration, I don't really even have more of an inspiration. I guess it's just the more of just having my kids again, like, because it's like my purpose. And, you know, I guess what you meant by inspiration is, you know, a lot of my friends have told me, and like workers have told me, like, I'll be really good for like one of those advocates for women and like mental health, because a lot of people struggle to speak up, or when people, in my experience, when I have spoken up, it's like they can't handle it, or they go give you a roundabout answer, you get 3 different answers, and it's like, we're trying to stand up for yourself. And I was just like, what's the point? Like, you're trying to stand your ground, but then it's just this like a combative conflict just happening. So I guess my inspiration is hopefully, you know, with the work I've done, or just like being a lived experience worker for like advocacy and mental health and addiction, I'm hoping I can like be one of those people that can be like a motivational speaker, or just something along those lines. I don't know what my future holds yet. Like, I've never known what I wanted to do as my life. You know, I've wanted to be a vet because I love animals, which I do, but then I wanted to be a psychologist, help people, but then like I don't like people, or people don't like me. I'm an introvert and extrovert, but it's not about liking me, it's just about helping them so they don't get thrown out the system. And they're like, you know, when they say mental health or people like suicide, they chuck you in the psych ward and take medication, and you come home in a few months, but it doesn't actually solve the issue. Yeah. It's just, again, that repetitive stuckness. You know, I've had that many experiences myself, it just never got solved. So, you know, like, I'm on a new therapist now, so it's like, even though like they're not around forever, but it's just about finding that combination. So for me, I've got to make sure I have my, you know, my ADHD medication, I do a bit of journaling, meditation, spend some quality time with the kids on the weekends, make sure like it's just doing something and trying to just be present. So rather than being caught up in my head all the time, which I am, like right now I've got 50 different thoughts on different train tracks. I'm like, you know, but I'm trying to just stay focused on this, you know. And so my inspiration, is to hopefully one day just to be a change, or like use my voice so that others can, you know, change it, like in use their voice in like family courts or stand up for themselves, because a lot of people feel scared, or sometimes they have fear, or they don't know how to go about it, you know. And I never knew how to go about that too, but I just kept like just persisting, I guess, and just now it's like all my fears are kind of dying down. Like, they're still always going to be there. Like, I'm always fearful whatever happens to my kids, or whatever happens something to me, if, you know, who's going to blah, blah, all that. But, like, I'm trying not to worry about that right now. But it's a practical, you know, so, like, as any parent would, you know.
And that's the thing, isn't it? Like, I think we all have underlying fears. No matter, I know you don't like using the word normal, and I completely understand that. And then that's true. But I think if you want to put people in normal, I think even normal people have underlying fears, don't they?
Yeah, I guess, I see what you mean, yeah.
But, you know, saying that your underlying fears perhaps rise to the surface a little bit more than what if we're going to categorise normal people do.
Yeah, I guess you call that the generalised anxiety, you know.
Yeah.
So, like, that's probably what it comes down to. It's like, whereas like the humans say they're normal, they're going to make mistakes, but you wouldn't, like, you know, I said to my therapist, like, she goes, I've been to therapy too, and blah blah. And it's like, yeah, like it makes, like, you know, like there's nothing wrong with going to therapy, because everyone just needs a bit of a guidance. But then, like, you know, I used to think if I'm going to therapy, there's something wrong with me, but it's actually not something wrong with me. It's what's happened to me that's made me, you know, all those core beliefs, and like just challenging those behaviours so I can not keep doing it, because otherwise you're just going to do the same thing over and over again but with the same result. It's like that insanity, but you need the sanity to bring it all back, you know.
And it's sort of, I'm only asking because I dare say reflection, like you were saying, you can't keep living about what happened.
Yeah.
But I suppose, is it fair to say a little bit of reflection can help you?
Yes. That's pretty much spot on there, yeah.
Yeah. And then you've got to balance that, I suppose, between reflection and where you want to go now. You've got to adjust. It must be a difficult task to be able to do that.
Yeah, it's like having that mirror effect, like your face in the mirror, and like when you're brushing your teeth, it's just like, you know, like when you look at yourself, it's like, kind of like, some days I'm like, is this who I am? Like, who am I? This isn't me. It's just like having that whole reflecting thing, and then it's like, which is good. I love reflecting because it's, you know, I always do a lot of reflecting at night when the kids are asleep. I have, like, you know, a set time to myself, do like a meditation and reflect on, this is, you know, a lot of my friends have said that too, and I'm grateful for my friends as well and family that, you know, there has been a lot of growth, and like they always remind me that I am a good mum, and like they've seen the growth, and sometimes I can't see it for myself because we're our own worst critic, you know, because we just can't, because we see ourselves every day, right, like physically, internally, everything. But when, like, because when you don't see your friends that you haven't seen for a while, they're like, you know, I was like, oh, this reminded you the other day. I was like, oh, you know, so it's like it's so nice to have like just those little memo notes or things that they send back to you, and just like, this is a reminder that, you know, this is who you are and this is where you're going, and, you know, they're forever grateful for me too. So I probably wouldn't have been able to get this going without a lot of my friends as well. So it's just about that encouragement, vice versa. Like, they come to me, I go to them, and it costs nothing. They always say everything costs, but one thing I've realised, it's about like that, the honesty and the respect, the empathy and the unconditional love towards kids or friends, family. Like, that's one thing that doesn't cost, you know. So it's pretty nice to just reflect on that as well, you know. And
do you find that because you've been in a very dark place and you're sort of slowly progressing, do you find that compliments from your friends or family, do you find them hard to take?
Yeah, I used to question, but like, what's the motive behind it? Like, why are you being so nice? Like, what is this? Is there like a motive why you feel like this, or, you know? But then I realised it's, one of my friends said to me a few weeks ago, it's not just about them being nice, it's about the person who I am. So, you know, like, so it goes both ways. So, like, if I'm like a nice person to my friend, and then like they can see that, they're gonna throw it back, give back, So it's with the compliments, like, I've never, it's been so hard, like, even to this day I still struggle, but I can take it from certain people, like my really close ones, like I'll be like, there'll be no hesitation, I'm like, thanks, or they'll be like, oh, thank you, Some of my kids, when they, Mum, look pretty, I like used to, but I know kids, like, I can take it so much from because they don't often say it. Like, they always say I love you like 10 times a day, which is nice, but it's just annoying because even when I'm in the toilet, like, I love you, Mum, I love you, Mum. Or when they come home from daycare, I want to speak to Mum first, they fight over, like, no, I love Mum. I was like, guys, he's both love me the same, okay? He's just excited because you just want to say the first word, but I used to do that to my mum and my siblings as a kid too. We used to, so it's just a sibling thing, but it doesn't mean I don't love them. They just need that reassurance that, like, like kids can really push your buttons and bring you down, but they can also rise you up at the same time. So
that's a very good point.
At the same time, like, I'd rather than have them fighting, screaming, even though sometimes, like, as soon as I go for a smoke, he said, she said, Mum, blah, blah, blah. It's like, guys, I can't quit smoking until you start behaving. They're like, okay, we need to behave so Mum can stop smoking. I'm like, I don't think they're going to win that deal. Maybe when they're like teenagers. Actually, no, teenagers. Oh, we don't even get there yet. But so that reflecting that compliment, it's like, I'm just learning to do it, now, I guess, depending on like the concept or, just things in general.
It's sitting here talking to you, it's an inspirational story. Like, we can always focus on negative about, this person, you might as well write them off, And there's a lot of that, which is unfortunate. But you sort of have brought a vibrancy to being able to reflect, being able to move forward a little bit, all those sort of things. Do you, that must, like, for me, not me as in anybody special, but for me to be able to see that and say that, you must think, you must think that. It hopefully reassures you that you are making a difference by coming on here, and you can inspire people after what you've been through.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate that. So thank you for putting that out there. So like, I guess it depends on the mood. Like, if you said if we yes, I'll be like, stuff the world. I'm angry. I don't want to deal with anyone. Again, it just depends on the mood. But like, again, it all comes down to that reflecting. And it's just like, like, we can all be resentful and like, but I realize, like, in the end, like, the resentful is just, it's not going to go anywhere. It's still going to be there, but it's about, like, how do we deal with it? It all comes down to radical acceptance sometimes, like things that we cannot control, which unfortunately is my biggest problem. Is like, obviously, like with the housing and the family court, it's like there's no control, only the, it's like, it's just like, well, how can we help? But then again, it's up, we can't control their minds. It's up to them what they say. In the end, we'll do it with what, they want to do with it. But it's just, it's painful because it's something that I'm a big believer and an advocate for. It's just a nightmare, It's a constant nightmare. It must be very, very difficult. And for somebody who has gone through a lot, which you've sort of touched on a lot today, you're quite astute. Like, you sort of got a lot of things, when I say worked out, you know what's happened, you know what's happening, and you can perceive people, etc., etc. So, if you know what I mean, you're not, I think you're more incisive than what you may be. Like, all they've gone through, all what you've gone through has made you very much more incisive. Or maybe you were there, it was there all the time, and now that you're living a different life, it comes more to the fore. Yeah, no, 100%. I really resonate with what you just said, because with the whole insightful being like, I don't know if I've always had it a long time, but I've known ever since, like, I was little, like, I'll be shy, but then, like, I'll, get out of my shell, but very insightful when it came to, like, animals. I think that caring thing, because, we've all got different hopes and dreams, or, like, a lot of people probably like animals, but you know, I used to even just try and save a bird that had a broken wing, or I want to bring a stray cat home, or there's like blood on the cat. Like, when you know, I grew up with cats and dogs all my life, and I think that's kind of like the caring side. It's kind of like when you, I guess, I wouldn't say like raising children, but like then it's easy to care, because if you see like an animal really hurt, because you know, there's some people out there that just don't like animals. They just want to just abuse them or neglect them. You know, it's the same with children. It's the truth, and it's hard, and this is one thing that like I hate hearing about, like on the news, or like I don't watch news. I try to, but you can't. It's everywhere, you know. Like, so the whole insightful thing, it's amazing, because I think it started from, you know, the young age, and then just having that natural compassion. Not so much in my teenage years. I was more just, you know, rebel without a cause, and just more just caring about just drinking or drugging. But then, like, kind of when it comes to kids, or like when I found who my real friends are, like, because I didn't have any friends in addiction, like, or when I was using, I thought they were friends, but they were just acquaintances. I didn't know this, but now it's like, wow, like I've had friends, same friends for maybe the last 4 years. It's just, they're like my ride or die, you know. So I think like insightful when it just comes down to just you kind of sow what you reap. So if someone's kind to you, just, you know, like I try to be kind to people in ways that I can. Like, even if I don't know them, like if a stranger needs help, or like I might just offer them some like water or food or stuff like that, just because it's tough out there and it's sad. But then I feel like if I help one person, I feel like, great, I need to help. But then I can't think, and that's why a lot of my friends say, you got so much empathy, like you care about like everyone, but you put yourself kind of last, which I try not to, but I'm learning to just, I guess, all comes back down to that balance, you know. But the insightfulness, I think once I started my music is what it kind of, when I started writing my lyrics 10 years ago, it kind of created this insight and just awareness of, wow, like, did I really write this? Like, is this like even me? And you know, it's just like, boom, like, I just kept going after a while. Had a break, and then just...
well, we'll talk about your music in a sec. I just, I've got believe it or not, I've got a couple of friends, which is unusual to say. But one particular friend suffers an addiction. And he is the most generous, not the most, he's an absolutely generous person, and he loves animals. And I always say to him, I think people who love animals are generally good people. I know it's a generalisation, but he's like you. When I say he's like you, there's a similarity to you. If he has $10 in his wallet and he sees somebody without food or without money, he'd give them the $10.
Yeah.
You know, and I get the impression that you have a similar sort of empathy.
Yeah, I can do, It's just, I guess it just depends if I can.
That's what I mean,
Yeah.
That's a really big thing, I think, for, you know, I think if look, I don't know, I'm not a psychologist, but I think if you have that empathy and that caring factor, it's a really good thing to have. Like, you don't appear a selfish person.
No, I'm actually, I could actually say that loud and proud. So I nearly backed out on the comment, but I'm like, no, hang on, this he's actually, you know, telling you, you know, so thank you. So as long as I was studying psychology for a bit there, but I had to pull out because my laptop broke, and then I just couldn't keep up with work and kids. So I was wanting to start studying, you know, last year, but I think it was just the wrong time with Christmas. So I'm hoping now, like what you said about the inspiration, is that maybe this time around it might just, again, find that time, because by night time I'm just like, I'm done, but I'm active, if that makes sense. I'm just like, I need to use like my activeness into something good. So like I can with my music, I can do that any time of the day, any time of the night. So, you know, but eventually I'm hoping like one day when I have my own like little business, private practice, where, you know, like, because it's so expensive like to go privately, but even if you get like 10 free sessions, they're not actually free, you still have to pay some money. So why I say free in the first place, why not just say you get 10 sessions where you get a rebate, because free. And people were like, yeah, let's go with free. And then find out, I'm like, oh, it's not free. What?
No.
Thanks for the heads up, guys.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so, but that's hopefully one of my ambitions. But like I said, like it's always been a toss up between people and animals. So I've always said to myself when I was little, even to this day, if I ever won the lotto, I want to open up a homeless shelter for the animals and the homeless people, so that way the homeless animals and the homeless people can actually companion together, because they know what it's like to be. So I feel like they'll be a good match because they've been neglected. So I'll just finish off this story as well. So I got this friend who's got a dog and went through like a bit of trauma and I guess neglect. And the first time I met this dog, and she was all over me, and it's funny because I was just reflecting and she was reflecting too and saying, V, this is probably why the dog, because it's been for its own trauma, and it just picked up on me. Like you know how like dogs don't like bringing their bones near you or their meat and their treats, they'll like kind of guard it. This one was bringing it near me, so making sure that like their chickens or thing don't go near, but the dog was like guarding me I'm like, wow. And the first time I met him, he literally she was just all over me. So, you know, so it's just like even dogs can really sense. Like they just know, you know.
They do, and it's with, I mean, animals in general, but given that most people have a dog or a cat, I mean, as their animals, it's unconditional, isn't it? And I think that's one of the great things about animals. It's just unconditional. You know, they come up to you.
Yeah,
They don't expect anything in return.
No, they don't. I had a dog. Unfortunately, he's no longer with me now. I had him for about 12 years.
Oh.
I raised him. I brought him from a pet shop. Usually, I would prefer like adoption, but because at this moment that I first seen this dog, so this was when I don't know how old I was, but like in my, I guess, early teenagers, and I saved up some money and I seen this dog and it was like 500. I was like, right, that's my last. I didn't care, but out of all the dogs there were, he kept like running behind the glass and wanting to play, and he would put his like paw on my hand. So it was just like, and the other dogs were doing that too, but I don't know, this dog just knew. I was just like, I said to the owners, can I come back for him tomorrow? I just got to get the cash out, and they said we can hold him for you. And then I remember walking him through the shopping centre. This was just back in the old pet shop in Rockingham.
Yes.
He said the old pet shop there, and I was walking him through the shop. He had a big patch on his eye, and I named him JD, and I don't even know why I named him JD. But unfortunately, you know, like after 12 years, like when he got to like 13, 14 years old, I had to do the right thing as I nearly said parent, as a pet owner, to put him down because he developed something wrong in his brain where he started walking backwards. He wouldn't eat for 4 days straight, and he just got... but he was so protective of me because I was living next door to this meth addict who used to light fires and just try to break in, and my dog would like wake me up and there'll be a fire. And no joke, after he passed away, not long after he passed away, I heard his bark. Like all dogs have got a different bark. You just know. I'm like, my dog's not here. And then I woke up to this bark in my dream that there was another fire and he wasn't even alive. And he used to bang on the door, go to my son's room, my daughter's, and just like go crazy around the house. And I'm like, why are you going crazy for? I thought they might have just been like, I know, like, because I can sense spirits, or it's like in my house. Someone was like, there was a fire outside my window again. So I'm just like, whoa, like, you know. So to this day, like, I still get sad, but like his pets, they're like family, they're unreplaceable. They can go buy another one, but it's not going to be the same.
It's a different bond, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we can move on to your music. Tell us about music.
So I've sent a couple songs in today to these guys. So the first one is Part of Me, Here, There. This one's just, I guess I just called it Part of Me because it's like two different parts of me, like one wanting to keep going, one wanting to not wanting to be here, but it's like just trying to convince myself, or different words to say, like, it's part of me, like, yeah, part of me wants to give in, but part of me doesn't. So It's just like having that fight. So that's this one there.
Shall we play that now?
Sure.
Let's go with Part of Me by Bianca.
Part of me wants to give in, part of me wants to fight, part of me doesn't care despite all the despair, part of me wants to be repaired, part of me thinks life's unfair, part of me thinks life is fair, part of me is teared and broken, part of me wants to be rewoken. All of me has spoken, but part of me feels as though I've been outspoken, part of me feels like it's just about winning the prize to gain more tokens. Part of me feels as I've been unnoticed. I'm wanting to pull the trigger, life I can't figure. Things I need to reconsider, but I can't consider. Am I my own predictor, my own future fixture? I'm standing alone in a blistering storm, and I want to reform, trying to transform. What's the new norm? I ain't any shape, I ain't more in good form. God, give me a sign. I don't think I can move forward, so I can start to shine. I don't think I can win the race against time. Every day I know I'm not doing fine. Would it hurt to commit another crime for one last time? I try so hard to stay strong and have a positive attitude. I'm starting to lose all focus and having less gratitude, not knowing my latitude, cross me longitude. Am I the one to blame? I can't because I can't be tamed. I feel so ashamed, I can't get mine in the game. What's my fame? Darkness at the end of my eyes, fire starting sick of these lies, my mind games and games of the mind. The skies can no longer be bright and I can't feel light, and life's leaving me like heightened and frightened and living. All these prediction visions face on collisions. I need a revision of life. The silent whispers, I've heard it all before. This is something I can't easily ignore. I'm trying to fix myself so I can head back to the shore. A broken heart, a broken family, critically I'm waiting, sitting, waiting in lakes, living many different personalities, practically in my personal anatomy with dangers, humanity, and impulsive activities. My scars are a story of my past, the effect of the aftermath is a deadly blast. I'm a prisoner of my own mind, trying to leave the past behind. It hurts to eat, it hurts to breathe, it hurts to laugh, it hurts to cry. It wouldn't hurt if I died, cause I've already tried. It doesn't matter how I feel, it doesn't matter what I think, it doesn't matter what I say, it doesn't matter what I do. I've lost my brain, I don't think it can be maintained. All the memories I no longer retain, they've been restrained. What else is there I have left to regain? I need a new heart, cause I think my time is about to be past. I need a triple bypass, the sun has passed when you last time, they just become a memory. My body's going to shut down, my hurting tension is starting to slow down. My body's so cold, my body's shaking, I'm breaking slowly. I'm turning into waste, it's just I've been waiting, but it's hard to be patient. I think my body needs replacing. It's so frustrating, it's like it's being leaked from all these toxic chemicals, non-essential. I can't go to bed with the voices in my head, wishing I was dead. My head is a mess, I'm hanging on to cobwebs as I try to find a straight line, hoping all deep be fine, but it's not divine. I'm wanting to ride across the ocean times, fuck, I'll never be a bride. I'm a lost soul and I'm a fallen angel. My whole life is just 360 sort of angles, caught up in all these knots and tangles. Predicament after predicament, I will stay committed. I've lost all fulfillment with so much insistence, left me feeling distant. Not all efficient but sufficient, causing divisions in your ocean as well as immunoaddiction. Not knowing civilization in reality with no clarity. And more times do I have to dodge the bullet? I don't live my life to the fullest. I'm stuck on autopilot, it's like a riot of silent violence. With an eerie of disquiet, what more is there to require desire? All haywire, I'm still walking through this fire, my head being the clouds and my emotions exploding to smoke. It doesn't take me much longer to choke, to provoke and revoke. It's like my life and time is an hourglass, similar to the law of conversation, I'm mass. I'm an atomic bomb and explode and shatters into a million pieces. My life is like a Rubik's Cube, trying to explore all these clues and mysteries. It's my past history, I'm running out of batteries. Ollie and flow, there are days where you sure do keep me on my toes, but what I see each day is a love to see you both grow. You give me hope to cope through my bad days, but I wouldn't have it any other way. Ollie and flow, you light up my heart like the sun rays, even on my rainy days. I love how you both sit and play. The sound of your laughter, the sound of your singing, the way you sparkle like the ocean water. I'm glad I can call you my son and daughter. Flo, you're so cute with your wild curly hair, your cheeky smile makes you laugh at least that extra long while, which I haven't been able to do in a long while. Ollie man, your eyes sparkle like the blue ocean, you're my chemical to my healthy pollution. Ollie and Flo, I hope that you always know that you have a safe space in my heart. You always hold a special part, you'll never tear us apart because you're both key to my heart. I love our morning cuddles and jumping in the wet muddy puddles. I'm playing outside, blowing fancy bubbles. You both help me build up my inner muscles. Ollie and Flo, using my rock, we're our own flock. I no longer have to be the sailor on my own dock. There's not enough time on the clock of how much many more hours we can spend together. No matter the weather, rain, hail or shine, I can now sparkle like a diamond. No longer have to be a victim of crime. As long as we pray to God, everything will be fine. And continue on the never-ending heaven skies until the time comes. We don't have to worry about saying goodbye. see each day is a love to see you both grow. You give me hope to cope through my bad days. Ollie and flow, there are days where you sure do keep me on my toes, but what I see each day is a love to see you both grow. You give me hope to cope through my bad days.
Okay, a couple of songs here from Bianca, who's a aspiring, it's a nice word, isn't it? Aspiring rap artist.
IPL Radio, there you go. It's meant to be. What a coincidence.
But, you know, is this your second time in the studio here?
Yes, second time, and I'm loving it.
Well, it's funny because you show an enormous amount of confidence, and you come across very well, you know, like... when we're chatting here, the confidence comes through, the honesty comes through, and and the rawness comes through, and I think that's great. I mean, you know, it really is good, you know, and I think people out there enjoy it, not only just the music, but also you as if you want to call it a presenter or an interviewee. Yeah, you do come across exceptionally well.
Yeah, thank you. I wish I was like that fair, because sometimes, like, as soon as I go in there, I'm just like, I'm so shut down, like, because sometimes I can't like feel emotions, like I can't cry, because, which is natural again, because of all the things I've been through. I've just learnt to just shut down. So it's just like, again, like, it's just building up that, you know, able to like feel without like numbing myself. So sometimes it happens, which is fine, but you know, like I used to like get sensitive and cry a lot, but like it's just now I just get more irritable and frustrated and smoke more. So like what you said, like, yeah, it's just natural. I think it's just like because like I'm a natural conversationalist, and like I think like really like unorthodoxly out the box. Like I just think really, you know, mathematically, or just like calculating, or you know, it's like having diagrams in my head, because that's what I work best with, is like diagrams, and it's just like boom, that's like how my brain works sometimes, you know. So it just feels natural being here. I think it's just because I've always talked as a kid, and just like my daughter reminds me of, she's just like boom, boom, boom. Like this is probably something that she'd probably be able to do, you know, later, a job that requires talking, you know. You know, rather than just going to therapy 1 hour a week, because sometimes like, what do you want to talk about today? I'm like, what do you want to talk about? I'm like, what did you have for dinner? It's like, it's about you. I'm like, no, it's not about me. It's shoving that out, you know.
And the thing is, particularly with IPL, is that it's a sounding board, as well as you know, the beauty of it is it helps people out there. Who are listening in, who may be going through a little bit of what you've gone through. But it's also, we like to think it helps the people like yourself who can come in, sound confident, sound sort of, you know, sharing the story. We hope that it's like reciprocated in that way.
Yeah, no, 100%, yeah. So if anyone wants to do it, just, I don't know, I just got told just to just do it and try and see what it's like, because I had no idea how I'll be the first time. Like, first time I came in last week, I was obviously like really shy, because I'm an introvert and an extrovert, just depending on my mood. And you know, I was all like quiet and just like, oh, like, you know. But then as it kind of come in, like, because I can already tell, like, you know, like I'm very intuition and around people, and I can pick up vibes. It's pretty easy. It's not like we're interviewing about a crime or being detectives, you know, so that makes it less pressure, you know. So it's just kind of like a casual, you know, yarn, but it's like it's completely different. Like, sure, like obviously friends are very. It's just like it's just again, it's natural, it's cruisy, you know. You don't have to.
That's the thing, isn't it? You know, I had a lady in before from Scales, and she said that she knew she was coming in, and she said, I found it a bit difficult to go to sleep last night thinking about it. I said, well, I can understand that, but it's all about just having a conversation, isn't it, really? And I think that's what it's about.
This place holds space for people to find their voice. That's it. That's what I'm witnessing. It's just such a space.
Alrighty, Bianca, is there anything you'd like to add before we wrap up here?
Wrap it up with my rap, ain't I? No, I just, again, like, it's all about just having that determination and pushing through the fears, like, because if anyone doesn't have their confidence, you just never know what your voice, someone may need to hear it. And, like, I'm not just doing this for me, like, it's good that I am doing it for me, but it's also around, I guess, inspiring others, because I've got to use my words, because I'm very, I've been told I'm very articulated, like I've got to use them in a good sense, but I didn't think I had to tell them, because I thought, hey, there's words in a dictionary, there's words in the Bible, like anyone can put words in a book, or anyone can put words in an essay and it gets greater, but this is, I guess it's more different because it's actually talking about my experiences, but on a deeper level, but it's also articulated in the sense that it actually it comes naturally, I guess.
Oh, it does. You can sense it.
Yeah, I don't have to like Google or look up what rhymes with this. It would just, it'll just kind of like flow, I guess.
And as I say, you have your support worker here who's been in the background. Hello, Heather.
Hi, girl.
And thank you very much for coming in. We'd love to have you. I do believe you're coming in again.
Yes, currently again next week, maybe. Yeah, or tomorrow or something. I don't know yet. We'll find that out. Yeah.
But you've been an asset to the people listening in, and as I say, when I say congratulations, I mean well done. You've come through a heck of a lot in your life, but sitting here today, for me, as a humble man on the radio, if you like, for me what's come across today is that a lot of your chat here has been about other people, helping other people through what you've been through. And I think that is a great thing to do. You've got to come here and said, oh, it's a terrible world and this has happened, that has happened. What you've done is you said, that's where I've come from. If I can do it, hopefully give the other people out there inspiration to do it. And that's a great thing. It really is. So well done.
Thank you.
Okay, that was Bianca. And thanks. We'll play a bit of music and
we are.
continue with the show. Thanks, Bianca.
Thank you for
Cheers.
very much.